Double pistols.
Hello. That was weird. Sorry, technical errors. Welcome to Jabberjaw. We're fine. I'm your host, Jessica Dawson Collier, and with me, as always, is Tyson Wheeler Dynas and Matthew David Smith. Guys, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And to thank you. Thank you, really, for dealing with my crazy schedule today and always.
No, it's not a problem. The holidays are pretty much crazy for everyone, so it's really, tis the season to, have a
That
lot
is
of shit
true.
to do.
Tis
Yeah.
a season to deal with Dawson shit. So appreciate you both and
Oh,
thankful for you both.
well, to be honest with you, our dog Melly, her mother was in a huge dog show today, and they actually live casted it on AKC TV. And so that's what I was doing before the show. So
Oh, no shit.
yeah, so weird things happen around this time of year all the time. So you just never know.
What,
Um,
Never know.
what cable package do you have to get the AKC TV? I'm
Yeah,
wondering.
that's a good question.
Roku. It's actually I'm
Okay.
sure it works. I'm sure it works on other things other than Roku. It's an app, a streaming app. But yeah, like it's unfortunate because they show dog shows all the time, like
Yeah.
live, And now, Beth used to hate the fact that I could watch Mystery Science Theater 24/7. Now I hate the fact that she can watch dog shows all the time 24/7. I don't hate it, but I mean it does. I don't know. One of these days, you guys have to watch a dog show with Beth. It is the funniest thing because she knows the people, she knows the judges, she knows the breeders, she knows all this shit, and she's got all this dirt on these people, and also she's very opinionated. I don't know if you guys ever met her, but
Wait, what?
So
No.
anyway, so our dog's
One of the reasons
mom,
I love her.
yeah, our dog's mom, Billy was a finalist. She was in Best in Show tonight, so we were watching.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a big deal.
Yeah, she's the number one noof in the United States. Which is pretty
Damn.
cool. Yeah. But anyway, I don't
Can
think.
I can I make a comment about the dog show circuit cuz I kind of see some of the stuff on Facebook.
Sure.
When they win an award, I like the Photoshop work of like whoever has been leading. You know what I'm saying? Like it's very like dreamy and like the font that they use is very flowy and like the way they announce it. I laugh, but I also appreciate it. Like it fits the mold of what a
It does.
dog show winner should look like, if that
It
makes
does.
sense.
No, it totally does. And we
I
get
hope
these.
you don't take offense to that, B, but I just every time I see one, I'm like, oh
Well,
yeah.
we get these big, huge books like once every month or every 2 months of just literally like people posting pictures of the dog that they have that they won. That
They're
won a.
pimping
Oh,
out the
okay.
bitches. Is what you're doing. They're pimping out the
Yeah.
bitches.
Yeah, so like, so it's this whole thing, and and you can, I'll have to, you know what, I'll have to save one of these for you, Dos, because the level of competency between people that are good at graphic design versus bad at graphic design, also photography, I should include that there, is vast.
Photography needs to be included because, like,
Yeah,
some of it I've seen is like the designer is doing a lot of work to make it happen, if
it,
that
it,
makes sense. Yeah,
it
yeah,
is,
yeah,
it
yeah,
is, it is legit hilarious. Some of the stuff is like,
yeah.
and and I haven't actually seen in memoriam. They show a picture of a dog. Like, I mean, how much would you love your dog? I mean, now to be fair, these dogs have done this whole thing where they have been very good and made better breeding and blah blah blah. But still like, and again, I don't know how much it costs to put a thing in there. Like a full page ad.
I
Uh-huh.
figured
But
if
I
anyone knew, it was you, Tyson. We just
Well,
discussed that.
I
This
know. Well,
crazy-
that's what I was about to say. Is that I don't think I could afford it personally in my little
Yeah.
private crusade, you know. But people do it, and it's a whole thing, man. She was just telling me tonight that she was like, oh, that dog, that was Bill Cosby's breed, and I met his co-owner, who Bill Cosby has this line of dogs that he puts out there. It's like this little tiny dog. I couldn't even tell you what it is.
I don't know that we want Bill Cosby in a line
I
of
Well,
don't
anything.
either.
but,
That's
well,
not okay.
you guys know me. You guys know me. You know me so well. It was so hard for me not to make a joke about how easy it is to get those dogs to go to sleep at night.
Good
But I
man. Good
didn't
man.
do it. I did not do it.
That was
I,
tops. That was tops, buddy.
thanks, buddy. I didn't say it. So anyway, whatever.
Ugh, you're a
How
good
are you?
man, Tice. Yeah.
How are you guys doing?
Such an easy joke.
I know. That's why I couldn't do it. It was
Oh
so.
God. It's like right there.
I,
Low
you know,
hanging fruit.
this thing, and it actually made me think. So I saw Cosby perform twice before he was officially canceled.
I
And
was gonna say, didn't you see Smith, have you seen Cosby? Or is it just Tice that has seen Cosby live?
No, I've never seen him.
Okay.
I would
I
have
saw.
back in the day, but probably not now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
same.
I don't think he can get booked now, but I mean, like, but the the thing was, we saw
Elon
him,
Musk would book
and
him. I'm guessing.
and the the signs were there, guys. Like he did a bit about how his wife always puts somebody in his room with him and watches him to make sure that he doesn't go do something weird or whatever. And he was making jokes about that, and all of us were like, "Oh, your family's so rich, you have a guy in there, that In retrospect, that was a fucking red flag, and I was like, "Don't joke about that, Bill," but whatever. Anyway, so yeah, so I don't even think he understands what's going on with this.
No, that
I'm
guy's out to fucking lunch at this point.
pretty sure I remember it's only been probably 6 months to a year ago that he announced that he was doing another tour. I don't know if it ever went anywhere, but he certainly tried to get back out
Did he
there.
really?
I'm
Well,
pretty sure that,
Well,
yeah,
that
happened
fucking
within the
failed,
last
I
year or
hope.
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time I saw him, it was in Kansas City, and he killed. And it was just a bunch of old people, older than me and Beth, and it was hilarious. The
Well,
second time
I
we
love
saw,
Bill Cosby. Like fucking the
I know,
Cosby Show was like one of my favorite shows growing up. I loved it.
and I love his stand up. Like
Ugh,
back in the day,
his
his stand
stand
up
up
was
is very good.
very good.
Yeah.
And he killed the first time I saw him. The second time I saw him, it wasn't as good. It was in Topeka at that little center downtown, Matt. I don't know if you remember where that was, but anyway, it's like a block and a half from the Capitol building. That was less good. But the first time I saw him was very funny. I mean, I laughed my face off. And then, he's like Louis C.K. Bless his heart. He can't get booked. He's got to take a break.
But this
But
this is that question of like, can you separate the artist from the art? You know
yeah,
what I mean? And like, I
it,
think some people can, some people cannot. And like, Louis is another one. I'm like, I don't know, bro. I like your comedy, but it's really hard for me to stomach just
I
seeing you deliver anything at this point.
yeah. Well, I can do it with Louis because I love Louis first off, and I think he's very funny. But uh, the worst thing that he did was masturbate like in front of people. Now, Bill Cosby drugged women and then raped them.
No, that's next level fucking yeah,
That's so
yeah,
I can
you
make a
can't
thing.
compare the two. Yeah. Yeah,
No,
yeah. That's yeah. It's
but
they're both
I think I
gross,
think
but
I think Louis just hurt because we all loved him so much, and it was kind of like,
yeah,
oh God, not
big
you
time.
two. Like that was kind of the
Yeah.
unfortunate thing about
that
him.
that was that. Yeah, that was bad. I mean, I've seen him 3 times. I even have a picture of me and him, like weirdly enough, like in the
No shit.
yeah, this picture of me and this girl that I just met, and we met at a show or whatever, and then we went together to see Louis C.K. and we were leaving the auditorium. It was at the Uptown, I think. I think it was at the Uptown. Anyway, we're standing in line to get out, right? And
Uh-huh.
all of a sudden, I just hear this guy go, excuse me." I turn around, it's Louis C.K., and he's just going around all the people, like, and I'm like, "Oh, that's weird." And then he just stood there and took pictures with anybody that would like. Which I was like, that's pretty ballsy. He doesn't look happy in the picture that I have, by the way, but you know, but he was doing it, and so,
Were
you know,
you running some bits by him, Ties?
well, I mean, you know what I did though? His opener was Todd Barry that night, and Todd Barry is
Oh,
one of
that's
my favorites.
fucking dope.
So
Yeah.
I got a selfie with Todd Barry, and it was funny because
That's actually way cooler, I think.
he was at the merch table, and he had all this stuff, and I was like, "How much is this stuff?" And they're like, "Whatever." And I took $60 in 20s, 3 20s, and I threw it on the table, and I was like, "Give me what you got." And this Todd Barry goes, "I like this guy. This guy, yeah, this guy here."
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah. Anyway,
Good
it was
stuff.
a weird night. Anyway.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I should separate that. The picture taking night was a different night that I saw him as opposed to the night that I eat Todd Barry for. But same idea. Anyway.
Since we're talking about like comedians and comedy in general, I wanted to ask you guys a question. I know Mark Maron is kind of a curmudgeon. He is a curmudgeon. But one thing he said recently is he's pissed off because he's pissed off about everything. But one of the recent things he's pissed off about is that every up and coming comedian is now getting a Netflix special.
Yeah.
Do you guys agree with that? Or like,
Totally.
where do you feel comedy is going? Like in
Hundred
a good
percent.
direction, bad direction?
100% Netflix. That's a cheap thing for them to produce. So
Yeah,
they just sign up anybody to do it.
sure.
And
Yeah.
and a lot of these comedians, and I love stand up, and a lot of them I don't even bother with some of them half the time because I'm just like that's not going to be good, like
No.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
What I just read something recently is that like TikTok is basically destroying comedy
Yeah.
because
Yeah. I did see that
it's
too.
this short
yeah,
attention span, and when they give these idiots their own show, they're terrible. There was one, I'm forgetting his name, but apparently like just everybody was ragging on it because apparently it's awful, and it was one of these TikTok comedians who. I think he said something terribly misogynistic or something, and that kind of got attention from it. I don't remember his name because I don't care. But no, that's I've seen a kind of a reemergence of that lately, as people just like saying that TikTok is absolutely ruining stand up, and I'm guessing that's kind of related. I hadn't really realized that, but I'm sure that that makes total sense. Is that like a stand up special costs what $50,000 to
yeah,
produce like
maybe,
a good
yeah,
one, and so
Maybe. Yeah.
and yeah, so yeah, it's kind of a sad time for stand up
it
and
is.
people.
And like we have a couple comedy clubs here in town that get great people, like Dane Cook and Jake Johansson was here last weekend. Tim Meadows was here earlier this month. You
Oh,
know,
nice. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so like I've kind of had this thing with Beth. I was like, we're gonna start doing this, as soon as we're past all the troubles, as the Irish would say. But the thing is, it's $30, $30 to go see. I mean, you have to buy two drinks and an appetizer, but like it's fine, And I've
Yeah.
seen some.
That's not bad.
One time I saw Bobcat Goldthwait perform at the Improv in sorry, in Orlando,
Cool.
and he did 30 minutes on Orlando in Orlando. And that's the thing that's never going to make a recorded special. It's never going to make,
So badass.
it was great. He was like, "Why is everybody so happy to share cocaine with me in Orlando?" And like and, yeah, so I mean like there's something to be said for like really good comedians who can do 20 minutes about
Yeah.
wherever the fuck you are that they wouldn't normally put in their special or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But
Right.
with TikTok, right, you have to protect. I assume Marin was referring to the fact that you can do a joke, you can perfect a joke in 2 minutes, but how are you going to fill an hour for honestly with the same level of comedic genius that you managed to just pine down into 2 minutes, right?
Well, right, and he was saying it was, like, taking away from the art form, like, it
Absolutely.
and I was like, I hate agreeing with Mark anymore because like, he is such a Debbie Downer, but, like, I get it, like, I understand what he was saying, and I know you guys listen to a lot more comedy and go to shows, especially you, Tice, than I do, so I was like, I don't know, just kinda curious to hear your thoughts on it. Because I mean, the last comedy show I went to was Maria Bamford at Comedy Works here in Denver, and it was fucking great. Like
Yeah,
I mean, I
she's
loved
great.
it. She definitely had some up and coming people open for her, and they did some bits about, local shit or whatever. But it was and I liked how they did it. Everybody had to put their phones in a locker. They couldn't get them until after the show, which I respect. Like, stay
Yeah, I mean
present. Don't be posting a bunch of shit.
They
Takes
should
away.
do that at every
I
show.
they
Everything
agree
that
should.
with
happens.
you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Totally. Yeah.
The
I
only thing
have
I
no
don't
beef with that.
the only thing I don't like about that is when you're waiting an hour and a half for the band to start and you don't have a phone and you can't you don't have anything to do. You know,
Look
it
at book.
basically it makes you yeah, it literally makes you start talking to the people around you, which is good and bad, right? Like it can be
It can
a
be bad.
wonderful experience or it could be not so great. I mean, Jack White made us put our phones away, and you know, it was so funny. They sent out an email before the show. It was like, you can't bring your phones. And it was like frequently asked questions, and one of them was, "But I want to broadcast that I was at the show, and his management was like, "Don't worry, we're gonna have a professional photographer take a bunch of pictures. They're gonna put it on his Instagram. You guys can take those pictures and say that you were at that show." And I was like, "Ooh, okay, all right, that's weird, but whatever." Um,
Ugh, I
but
don't
I do,
know about
but
that.
it makes sense to me personally to do that with comedy shows. I know Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock do that
Well,
for
I was gonna
sure.
say I went to Brian Posehn was in Austin before he moved, and I went with my friend Adam, and like he was doing that thing after the show. They had like a little, it was so stupid, but a mini red carpet and like a little backdrop, and you could get your picture taken with Brian. And we got this selfie from far away, but Brian caught us doing the selfie. So you see Brian in the background going like this, and Adam and I like, ah, like doing a dumb stuff. Like I kind of like, but again, I like being present in comedy shows, like not being distracted, not a bunch of lights going off or like phone
Yeah.
alarms or rings or any of that shit. Like in a comedy like show, sort of experience, I get it. Bands, I don't know. I'm still very much on the fence.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Matt?
I
I
think
have
it
some.
like I think it depends on who is going to the show. Like I have noticed that older audiences, again, with this continuing theme that young people are terrible. But
True.
I have noticed that like at old, like you don't see like, like when I go to like a like a Pixie show or something that's been around, I don't find that people of our generation are that bad at like keeping their phone up the entire time.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
It's two shots and you're done, kind of
yes,
thing.
and that's
Yeah. Yeah.
totally fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
wants to do that, but it's when you've got that guy right in front of you holding his phone up the entire time who doesn't experience the show at all. He's just excited to get home and watch his cell phone video so he can share it on Facebook. Like that's
Yeah,
annoying as shit.
Big time.
So
it
yeah, I
is.
think it depends on the band and the more so the fans. But
I do think though that using your phone at a comedy special is definitely takes you out of the moment because at a
Yeah.
rock show you have lights and sound and a bunch of different people on the stage doing stuff, but at a comedy show there's just one guy telling a narrative or one girl telling a narrative that they have crafted to the point where it crescendos, and I mean that is
Right.
the true point of hour-long comedy is to be able to do that. You want to, and I mean, so I guess in a weird way I do agree with Mark Maron. I don't think Mark Maron's an unfunny man. He's just angry a lot.
He is so angry, and I like him. I liked him more about 4 years ago, but anymore,
Well,
it's just like he's too dark. He
well,
goes too dark.
yeah, like Bobcat used to go dark, and now he's got he's an old man now, so he's a lot more genial. I would say he's still funny. He's still very funny.
Totally. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He opened for Adam Sandler. Sally saw him,
Oh, fuck
and
yeah.
and he did some. She sent me some bits that she recorded, but I mean they were in a stadium, so that's not that big of a deal. Like
No, but still, I mean, damn, Sandler's last comedy special on Netflix was amazing.
it
That
was
was really good.
it was surprisingly good.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
I personally thought, and I don't usually watch it, but you had said that it was worth watching, and I did watch it, and I did like it. Like
yeah.
I understand why he doesn't do it anymore. He doesn't have to. He's got to deal with Netflix, do whatever the fuck
No.
he wants.
yeah, I've
Yeah.
been watching that Halloween movie he did a couple years ago, that Hoobie Halloween or whatever. It was not a bad movie, and I
It
kind of
wasn't. It was
no, it's
great.
actually
I
pretty
was
good.
like, wow, this is like the resurgence of fucking Adam Sandler, like being funny again. Weird.
I
But
read this.
also I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I read this article about this woman who she was talking about how his movies are always terribly received by critics or whatever. And
Mhm.
basically, his response was, "Well, I cast the movie with all my friends. We go to Hawaii or Africa or wherever we're going, and then we have a big party and we shoot a movie at the same time."
I
And then-
fucking love that.
and and
Good
and
on you, Adam Sandler.
yeah,
It's
and
great.
she was like, "You know what? That sounds like a great life. Like what? Who cares what the critics think as long as Netflix is continuing to pay for it? Right? Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Not at
I'm
yeah,
all.
guessing he got a massive deal with Netflix too. I don't remember what it was, but it was
He
yeah.
did.
Like
he
they
did.
Yeah.
basically just bought him for the rest of his life. They're like, all right,
But
Yep.
he still pumps out. I mean, even if he's not in the movie, he's producing these movies. I'm a huge David Spade fan, and he puts David Spade in these movies so much so that like Spade knows that Adam pays for his lifestyle. So in his last stand up, he made some jokes about that. But you know,
Well, I
like,
think all of them do to a certain extent. Like Schneider, he's in that
oh
category. Like, I
yeah,
feel like Chris Rock is the one who actually does Adam a favor. Like, that guy's like, yeah, I got a week I can come on site and like,
I think you're right. Yeah, like Chris Rock can
land a
do
couple
whatever
lines. Yeah,
he
yeah,
can do
for
whatever
sure.
he wants, really. Um,
Yeah.
uh,
That's a dream though. Fuck. If like, fuck you money happens, Tyson, then like start your own
we're,
production company.
we're
We'll
gonna
do some fucking documentaries, maybe. I don't know. Like
maybe we'll
us
do a
three can go to Hawaii. I like
yeah.
it. I'm
Yeah,
into
like
it.
a C-tiered comedy, written by Matt and myself and you. That
Yeah.
we'll be the new strangers with candy.
And it's tax deductible, which is fantastic. So it's that, yeah, it's the win-win-win. Write it off. That's
That's right.
funny.
I love it. I'm into it.
Yeah, apparently there's a new special on Netflix. I haven't watched it yet, but it's Kevin Hart and Chris Rock, and it's a documentary about the two of them being headliners, or like sort of. Apparently they know each other or friends or whatever. I mean, I think I told you guys this. I don't know if I told you this on the show, but when we were in Vegas, Sally got us tickets to see John Lovitz and Dana Carvey do a
You
show.
did. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was unbelievably impressive. So like
Well, didn't Lovitz like play piano and
he did. They both
yeah,
did.
okay.
And
Yeah.
then but then I found out that it was Rob Schneider, Lovitz, and I'm not a huge Rob Schneider fan, but I did like his set on his young comedian special. He did a bit about he's 5'4", he married a girl younger than him. He's like uh, we're breeding downward. We are Shetland people. I always stuck in my head. I like that. But yeah, but on that same special was David Spade and Warren Hutchinson, which he's quite good, but most people don't. Anyway, but there was a tour where it was Spade, Schneider, Norm Macdonald, and
Mhm.
Lovitz. That would be an amazing show too, right? Yeah,
Wow.
I think
Yes.
for a certain
Yeah.
group of people in our age group, I would say it would be a fun show.
Yeah, I
Uh,
was gonna say, yeah, I don't think the millennials, the young kids would like really fucking
no, we got to go see Bo Burnham. I don't know why. I don't get it.
God, I loved his fucking Netflix show during COVID. So smart, that guy. He's dating Phoebe Bridges.
I saw
I
that.
think, yeah, they were like making out a lot at one point.
I saw that.
I don't
Yeah,
think so anymore. Yeah,
I hate that I know
hot
that.
goss. I know.
Yeah,
I knew you knew it. I just wanted to bring it up.
it's tough. I don't know. I guess I could know. Everybody knows their stuff. Beth knows dog breeders, and we know comedians and weirdos, and rock
Yeah, it's
stars
fine.
making out.
Whatever. Good on
Yeah,
him.
it's good. Yeah. Uh, yeah.
Speaking of what's happening with Kelsey and Taylor, what's the report? I'm joking. Let's move
Man
on
on the
to the next
scene. Yeah,
subject. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I'll tell you the weirdest thing about this whole thing that's happening right now is that the Kelsey brothers do a podcast, and every time they do a
Which I
podcast,
listened to a little bit and I like it.
yeah,
Sorry.
but the headlines are generated from that podcast now, which is just crazy, right? But that is only because she's dating him, right? They've been doing that podcast for a little while. So,
Yeah.
but uh, I was happy to see that he wasn't in New York on Wednesday partying with her for her birthday. Mary Swiftmas is what I was told that's called.
Oh, that's a
Uh,
thing? Mary
that's her
Swiftness.
her
Oh.
birthday is called Mary Swiftness.
Oh
Swiftmas,
God.
yeah.
I just died a little. Just a little.
I don't know.
Good Lord. I'm glad I'm not a Swiftie. I'm just gonna say it. You know what? Send the fucking hate mail. I'm there. I'm
It
there.
feels
Good
like
for
a
you.
lot. Yeah, it feels like a lot of work,
Thanks, Swift.
doesn't it? It's like you got to buy
It's a
double
lot
copies
of
of their
work.
album.
And
You
it's
know.
not that I don't like Taylor Swift. I wanna like her. I just think she's like the biggest overblown marketing scheme that has ever been invented ever when it comes to music.
She
Yes.
does. Yeah, I mean, she does make the right political people, on the far right, very angry, which I appreciate that. I think
I
that's the
like that, and I like her getting people to go out and vote. That's about it. I don't know. You
I
know?
am
She
gonna.
should do more of that. She should just go to polling
Yes.
places and encourage
Yeah.
people to show up. Taylor Swift will be here. It won't cost you $3,000 to see her. So,
Yeah. I want more of that and less of Taylor Swift was at the Chiefs game on Sunday and wearing a $230 vintage Chiefs sweater. I don't give a shit. Maybe that's more my anger should be shifted to the people reporting on that bullshit
I'm
rather
gonna
than
guess this
her.
all
Yeah.
dies in the off season. I'm saying this is over by February. That's my guess.
Please.
She's gonna give him a
Please.
month in the off season, and then that's it.
I actually I'm starting to think they're gonna get married. Starting to think that.
I
I
think they
know.
might breed too, Smith. I think they're going to have babies.
Oh dear,
Well,
really?
Look at them. Do a side by side of them. You know how like some people marry somebody who kind of looks like them. They kind of look like each other. Like
Oh, like people
he,
from Western Kansas. Yes, I know. I
yeah,
do know
yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
There's a
yeah.
thing going on.
It's because there wasn't many options in Western Kansas unless you got in your car and drove 4 miles or 4 hours either way. You know. But you're right. I mean, they do kind of look like each other, so I think
And
they might.
she just turned 34. He's ready to have kids. Like it's one of those things. I don't know. The
We're
I don't
world's
know.
talking
gonna
about it.
fucking explode anyway, so why not? You know
That's
what? Get
true.
married and
That's
have
true.
babies,
You're right.
kids.
You're right. You're right. Let's
So.
just take this thing to its logical conclusion, which is procreation and disappointment. So, yep, I'm game now.
Are we Swifties now? Is that what it took to just come to
Still,
that realization?
I
Yeah.
can still
Okay.
only say that I can recognize one of her songs. I would have to. I mean, I've only heard one of her songs. I think I did download that her Eras tour thing, and I will watch
I
it.
thought you were going to go see it in the theater. I
I
guess that
wanted
didn't
to. I
happen.
wanted to go see it in the theater, but I kind of have to be driven around everywhere now, and so I couldn't convince the driver to go to a Taylor Swift concert.
It's
To be
a
fair,
round of
pretty much
applause for
everyone there
the
was getting
driver.
dropped off
Yeah.
by somebody, so it wouldn't have been that out of the lineup.
I know, I know.
Fair. Yeah.
I'm still gonna watch it. Whatever. That's pretty neat. I did see. Did you guys know this band Guster? You ever heard of them?
Yeah. I love
Yeah,
Guster. Back in
They're
like the 2005 area of time. Yeah.
they have a tour out, and the name of the tour is "We Have Eras Too." That's the name of their tour. That was awesome.
Oh, Guster. Oh my God. I can't wait. I love that. That's awesome. Okay. Great. Made me so happy.
uh, yeah.
I'm gonna
Uh,
listen to what was that album that came out in 2005? They had a song about satellites. Anyway, I'm gonna go
yeah.
down a little rabbit hole.
You're
Yeah,
my satellite. Yeah.
oh yeah, that
that's
was a
what
good
I
tune.
listen. Yeah,
That
it's
was
a
a good
good
song.
tune.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
That's about the time I was delivering pizzas for Pizza Hut for 6 months.
I
And I
think
just kept listening to that song on a loop.
I think Guster's kind of fits into that weird level of like, you know how people are crazy about fish, or people are crazy about They Might Be
Yeah,
Giants, or whatever, but like it never really broke big, but they still sell enough records of
this
people.
album.
Yes, that album. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, Tice, you
Uh,
should get that on vinyl.
all right,
It's
I'll,
kind of
I'll
a
talk.
cool
I'll talk
little.
to. I'll talk to my broker about it. Uh, see what's up.
Loved it. I love playing. So at night at taco shop when we be closing, I like to play, our type of music. And I remember one night I played the fucking Guster album because I was always like, I was cook. So therefore I got to run, the audio that was blasting throughout the entire restaurant. And I just remember the drivers in the lobby would be so fucking pissed at me because it wasn't Metallica, it wasn't Korn, all of those bullshit bands. But one person, Jordan Gray, always was like, he'd always look at me and just we'd do like a slow nod to each other while the rest of the drivers were like, fuck you, Dawson, I hate your music.
Yeah, that spilled over.
The
That
little
spilled.
things.
That spilled over into the basement tapes too. People would be like, "Why don't you play some
It
Metallica?"
did. It very much did. Yeah.
No, and I did one
We
night, and then
played
I
shit a
immediately.
lot.
Yeah, we did. And then one night I played Metallica "Kill 'Em All." I can't remember what the name of the song was. And then I played "Mac the Knife" right after that by Bobby Darin, just to show them, it's kind of this, nobody can be too upset about any of this stuff. Uh, but yeah, that was KYS favorite, Mac the Knife. Sounds so good on the AM band. It sounds so good on the AM band.
Yeah, I really
So
hope
good.
they still do the Tradio. I real place in my heart really hope they still
Oh,
do Tradio.
wow.
For those who don't know, Tradio was it was pre what Facebook Marketplace, eBay, where you just
Yeah.
like kind of called up and you'd be like, I got these hangers I'm not using anymore, or got a 1972 John
I,
Deere
I got
tractor.
a
Yeah,
my favorite. I got a bag of used batteries. They might work. Some of them.
Yes.
I don't know. Anyway,
be
five
ashamed to throw them away if they were good. Yeah,
They actually had moved that by the time that I was working in that cluster of stations. They had moved that from KOAS over to the old country station. Because there was a new country station, the Bull, and there was an old one, which I
Oh,
they had,
yeah.
but they had moved.
yeah.
I'll bet it's still there.
I would if I'm gonna have to do put one of our researchers on that, but I'm gonna guess it's still a thing. I hope it's still a thing.
Yeah,
Probably.
I hope
Yeah.
it's still a thing.
they sell the most useless shit. I got a broken screen door. Somebody might be able to use it. I don't know. $5, best offer. You know.
I always repeat it to can you remind the caller what you're yeah, it's a broken screen door and you were asking for that $5. All right, $5. Give them a call at
Yep.
six two
Yeah,
eight.
zero judgment whatsoever. It's like,
Absolutely,
okay, that
absolutely.
seems like a deal. All
You had to
right.
play it straight. That's why Tyson
Yeah.
never got that gig because he just probably couldn't play it straight.
Tyson would be fired day 2, probably. I think day 1 would go okay. I think day 2, they'd be like, hey, what did you say yesterday? You're fired. Yeah,
Listen, if you, the battery lady, could get a hold of the, screen door man, I think you guys might make a good couple. So let's just hook
exactly.
this up.
It'd be that
You know,
shit all
yeah,
day, every day. Yeah,
that'd be
yeah.
funny. You're both selling useless shit, so I assume you both have the same values, which is that you love money. So let's,
I like thinking of these parallel universes where Tyson gets fired, but for different reasons, right around the same, just for different incidents. That had he not done something else would have happened. I just meant
I will say that I used to on the basement tapes. Sometimes I would play music that had curse words in it, but I didn't know because I didn't know the music that well. I just know people liked Damien Rice or whatever, and I'd be like shit, and then I'd be like, oh whoops, that wasn't. Oh fuck, whoops. Uh, you know.
Oh god. Yeah, Basement Tapes was very punk rock. I remember there was one show that we did and Sally's ex was in there and like you had I don't know if I should say this or not. I'm going to say it.
That's
Nobody's
fine.
listening to this. There was like raging porn playing on the television.
raging porn.
It was distracting the shit out of me to the point where I just like could not be on the mic. Tyson was a total pro. He was just like, "Here we go," and I'm just. I will never forget that episode and the struggle being so real. God, that was funny.
I remember that we gave
Do you
away
remember that?
don't actually, sorry, but that does
We
surprise me.
also we did do show prep pretty hard that night. I want to
We
say.
we also gave away a karaoke machine and did live karaoke on the radio. I don't know if you remember that. I remember asking. I remember asking the morning guy, Cameron, I think his name was, if I could. He had all these gifts and prizes and stacked in KJLS's thing, and I was like, "Can I have that thing? I want to give it away." He's like, "Yeah, no problem." So then we hooked it up, and then we sang karaoke on air. I had the mic set up so it would pick up us doing karaoke. It was terrible, but it was just the weirdest. I was just thinking, I was like, this would be kind of funny, actually. If anybody gave a shit, but I'm sure that anyone in that audience was like, I don't know what's going on at NPR
What are
right
they
now.
doing tonight? Yeah. Good God. You know what? There were a certain sector of people that appreciated all of it. Like they kept coming up to me primarily at Taco Shop and they're like, keep up the good work. And I'm like, fuck yeah.
I
Like
did,
1 out of 10. Yeah.
I did have. I remember one time I did. You weren't there, but I played all this construction noise.
No, I
Uh,
was
and,
there for one
were
of
you?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
played all
yeah.
this construction noise. And said we were rebuilding the show, and then it's going through a lot of stuff. And I would yell off. I'd back away from the mic and yell. I'd be like, "Cut it out! I'm trying to broadcast right now." Like all this shit. It was dumb.
Yeah, because you'd look over at me like, God, this is so funny. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this bit, this fucking It
Broke new
worked.
ground, sir. You broke a lot of new ground.
Oh,
Yeah.
uh, broke my lease with that company. But I know for a fact that nobody fucking listened to that show, which is the only reason we could get away with any of that stuff, is because no one listened to it at all. No, I mean
Here's
nobody.
the thing,
No,
though.
no, here's
Remember,
it. No, nobody that worked at the company listened to that.
no one
That's what.
to yes, that is true. But there, like, literally, there is a big sector of college students, especially people that lived at 308, that would report back to me on a weekly basis. And they're like, Dawson, love what you guys are doing. Play this song, play that song. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to try. I'm going to try. So
I'm sure
it
like
made
probably
some
like
sort of impact.
40% of like Haitians probably just had like, it on, the whatever the radio station was just all the time. And so,
Yeah.
they took a
Yeah.
drive when they usually didn't to, go get a Sonic or something. Like they probably caught a little bit of the show.
I think that it was definitely that. There was one moment where, because I thought we were just like, doing normal stuff, but our friend our friend Mary, you remember this? Mare came to one of the like tapings and she was just baffled. And afterwards, we were driving, I think, to 308 to, smoke cigarettes and drink as we did. And Mare was like, I cannot believe you guys get away with that shit. And I go, with what shit? I literally thought it was just completely normal. And then she just listed all of these things off that we said supposedly. I was like, and then Tyson goes, that's the magic of the show. And he takes a fucking drag of his cigarette. And it was like Tyson's whole magic thing that he says a lot. And I was just like, all right, I'm going to drop it. Because at that point, I was like, the anxiety was like, oh God, are we going to get fired? Is this bad? Like,
No, in fact, if we hadn't done that article, we probably would. Oh, thank God, we've all
Probably
moved
still
on
be
from
there.
that.
You'd probably be
Yeah,
named after
and
you to this day.
yeah,
Yeah.
so thank
yeah,
God that happened because I would not want to be there making
thanks,
$28,000 a year.
Micah.
But we, yeah, we did a lot of stuff. It's yeah, it's so funny. I have like these. I have not every commercial I ever made, but like maybe 50 commercials that I made for the radio station that are just me, and I got to pick these weird bed musics to play in the
Uh-huh.
background. And some of them are like, what? They didn't care. They're just like, as long as it fits under 30 seconds, or as long as it's a minute long, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would spend hours in the back room because I was so bored just listening to bed music because they had like 200 CDs of bed music, and so so
Holy
I just
shit.
yeah, so I would just be like, I don't know. So you have to make your own fun. But yeah, the things that we did were even really out of the bounds of the stuff that we did in Florida with Dan, where there were a lot more consequences because people could hear, people would listen. So it was just fun just doing the shit in Hayes. Yeah.
Good times. Good
Yeah,
times.
yeah. I'm gonna have to dig up some of those commercials. They're so stupid.
You should dig some of them up. We can use them as sound bites
I
for
think so.
the
We can use
show.
those as like a commercial filler until we actually get real
Oh, fuck
sponsors. Yeah.
yeah. Smith, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should aim
Guys,
for that.
that's your homework
the
for
planes
the holidays.
the Plainsville Hayes game is sponsored by AAA Insurance in Beloit, Kansas. Like yeah, it's all bullshit like that. So-
It makes my heart happy.
yeah.
All right, guys.
I'll dig it up. I'll share it with you guys.
All right, do it.
Let's do it.
Headlines.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna
Yeah.
back away.
Yeah. I don't know what's happening with that. That's weird. Yeah.
Uh,
But
I'll,
we know
I'll fix it.
we know what you meant. I don't have a lot of headlines this week. At all, really. Like, I mean, a lot of stuff's gone down. It's very weird kind of week, but
Yeah, it's been a weird week. It's been,
Yeah.
kind of all over the place.
this is from CNN Business. The headline: Kid Rock says he is done boycotting Bud Light because everyone needed to know this. I also brought it up again, and then I accidentally clicked on the video when I was moving my computer from downstairs to upstairs, and I listened to the video. And apparently, Kid Rock owns a bar in Nashville, Tennessee, and a block away, Garth Brooks is opening a bar.
What?
And so, yeah, so Kid Rock's like, I don't. For those of you who don't remember, he made a YouTube video or a Instagram video or something where he took a shotgun and shot a bunch of Bud Light cans, to
Yep.
show his displeasure. And then they had a clip of Garth Brooks talking about it and being like, not about the shooting, but just saying, is like, we're inclusive, I'm Garth Brooks, I'm I'm not Kid Rock, basically is what he's saying. And so yeah, so it's just kind of goofy thing. But the reporter did say that they went into Kid Rock's record or sorry, Kid Rock's nightclub bar, whatever it is, and Bud Light was available. So
Oh,
That
traitor.
was
You
like only a
fucking
matter of
traitor.
like 3 or 4 weeks after like the boycott that somebody like had like a picture of him. They caught him in the act of drinking a Bud Light. I mean, like I think he understands love, and I think that his love for Bud Light, I think, has opened his eyes a little bit because he just couldn't give it up.
I like that. That should be a Hallmark special.
I
Kid
think it
Rock
That's
is. I
opening.
cute. That's
think he
cute.
may have walked away wiser. Never.
Is Bud Light his Brokeback Mountain?
I think
He
it is
doesn't
a
know
little
how to
bit. I
quit
think
him.
it is a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I guarantee you, he's some dude's fucked Kid Rock. He just doesn't want anybody to know about it. Something happened. I don't know. I'm not.
Please, God.
I hope it was consensual. I hope it was consensual.
I do
Anyway,
too. That's all I hope for.
yeah.
Hope it was a
Um,
great time.
this is from the Wall Street Journal. This is kind of a serious thing, but I just thought it was really interesting. Scientists identify cause of morning sickness, potentially ending misery for many. Uh,
Ooh.
so I don't know if you heard about this, but they figured out that there's a hormone called GDF15 that just kicks into overdrive when you have a baby for ladies with lady parts that have babies. And so,
I am not one of them, thank God.
so apparently, they think that they could suppress that hormone with medicine to keep the morning sickness down. So, who knows? But I thought that
Does
was
that
kind of
like hormone do anything maybe good for the baby, or
well. That's a good question, right? That's
does
because it
because
goes
it does sound like a trucker speed, like G, yeah, whatever you just said. It sounds like trucker speed.
GBH15. Yeah, I'll need a bottle of 120 of those GBH15s. Matt, were you in Florida when you could buy GBH at the health food store? Were you
I
around
was
during that
not.
time?
I was there when you could buy the whatever the K2 or whatever, like where they'd sell it as incense, and it was like fake weed basically, but they sold it as incense, and the bath salts even for a while you could like
Ugh.
buy at like convenience stores, which we all know how well Florida did on bath salts.
Yeah, they did not do well on that.
Yeah.
No,
Um,
No.
no.
there was a point where you could go to a Jamba Juice or something similar to that and get one of those super healthy shake things, 1,500 calories or whatever. Uh, pomegranates in it. But you could buy this bottle of GBH that was just there, and you could just do shots of it. You weren't supposed to do it. I was at a party one time, and several of my friends drank so much, but they blacked out, but we're still walking around, and it was
Oof.
yeah,
That's terrifying.
A
yeah.
little bit.
I
Yeah.
mean, they were still nice and whatever, but it was just like, oh, I'm a little worried about this guy right now. Anyway, this is my last one from Vanity Fair. I just like this headline. Rudy Giuliani is a hop, skip, and a jump away from telling his cellmate they used to call me Miss. They used to call me America's mayor. Uh, he also might be officially broke before 2024 is out. And and not to get into too much, but I think he made some comments. So he was on trial. Help me out with this, Matt. He was on trial for defaming the two workers that worked at that ultimately testified. One of them testified at the hearings, the January 6th hearings, and they had sued him for defamation. And then he went outside and defamed them again in his statements to the crowd, which I mean that guy. Oh, that's too bad.
Piece of shit. Yeah.
I think he just gave up because I think that was actually my first headline, just talking about how totally and utterly screwed he is now, because he didn't, like, he was supposed to, I think on Monday he said, I'm going to testify and we'll get this whole thing all cleared up, and then he decided not to testify. And so they are currently deliberating whether or not he's going to be fined, or he's going to owe them between 20 and 50 million dollars, I think, and they absolutely deserve it,
Absolutely.
because I
Absolutely.
think
Yeah.
the whole conspiracy was that that like somebody handed someone a USB drive with like votes, and what they ultimately determined that was like a ginger mint. Like it was like
Yeah,
a candy.
yeah, it was a piece of candy.
Yeah, it was a piece of candy. And he was still, and so like Tyson said, he went outside and he made the same statement all over again. And the judge said, yeah, basically, you got another defamation suit just in that comment. And then on a podcast on Tuesday, he did the exact same thing. So now they've potentially, so he's going to be, I mean, he's broke now. I mean, he owes creditors money. Like he's
Yeah.
already broke. And so he's going to be even broker. And that, I
And
mean,
he's just, if I remember correctly, he's disbarred, so he can't even go to
he's
work.
he's also disbarred. Even Trump won't hire him at this point. You know, what did Trump have on that dude? Like like he had to have something for him to this
Yeah.
just shameful. But I don't know. Maybe he just went crazy. I mean, they did say probably like was drunk most of the time anyway, and I'm guessing that's probably what's going on.
That makes sense.
Allegedly,
Yeah.
That
allegedly.
clock.
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to get Rudy his millions back, but allegedly.
Yeah, but that's no, that will not stand up in court. Your Honor, I said those things because I was drunk. Case closed. I didn't mean it. Yeah, no. And then he goes outside, and I meant every word I said. You know, like, even if I was drunk. So
And he's probably going to prison too. On top of that, which is like,
Yeah.
you know, because he's not
Big
going to have the
deal.
lawyer. That's the thing is he's not going to have the legal backup that like Trump and you know some of these other players have. And you know, I don't think anyone wants to defend him pro bono at this point. But
No.
maybe we'll see. We'll see.
oh
Republicans are generally very good people, so we'll see. I'm sure somebody will step up and save America's mayor from
yeah, maybe
these
Sidney
vicious
Powell will
lies.
hop in there and give it a go.
What's she up to?
She's trying not to get indicted right now.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Anyway, those are my headlines. Sorry, go.
Very nice. I just had a few as well. My first one again was just kind of related to the Giuliani thing, but I think we've covered that just about enough. I'm sure there'll be some highlights in the coming weeks that we can laugh and mock again. But this one just saw today. Curb Your Enthusiasm set to end after 12 seasons.
Oh,
It's
I
on the
saw
Huff
that.
Post today.
I did see
Uh,
that.
and I
Womp
think
womp.
Carbs has had kind of an interesting run because I want to say the first season was in something like 2002 or 2003, and he's kind of just done them whenever he wanted to. And I think he did I think the first maybe like 4 or 5 seasons were pretty sequential, and then I think he just kind of did them when he thought he had the material, which was awesome because like nobody really does that very often. And so it'll be sad to miss that. I don't know that I've actually seen the 11th season though. I kind of was looking back, and I think I may have missed a season. So have you guys kept up on it?
I want to
I
say
need to fill out the middle. I think I started with the beginning and then the end. I know I watched the 11th season, but in the middle, I need to catch up. Yeah.
I think the last season I saw had a living funeral for Albert Brooks. That was the last season
Fucking
I saw.
amazing. They actually had that in the documentary, which is quite
Oh,
good
did they?
too.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah, it's on my list. I haven't watched it yet, but yeah, I think that's the last episode. The
He's like
last
a
season I saw.
COVID hoarder. Like
Yeah,
it comes
yeah.
because they're
Oh,
doing a
that's
lot.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
did
yeah,
see that.
yeah.
It's this
So
huge
funny.
roundabout where like
He's
he
like,
does.
this house used to be a CVS. That's my favorite Albert Brooks line from that whole episode. It's so funny. So good.
Yeah, I need to. Well, it'll be fun to sit and watch the whole thing through. I mean,
Curb is brilliant. I love it. Fucking sad.
I'm on this comedy writers mailing list, and this guy's like, he's like the only person that can break the rule about A story, B story, C story, because most sitcoms have an A story and a B story, and
Yeah.
sometimes they might have a C story that just goes through the whole season, right?
Hmm.
But he's like Larry David has like A through J, and he's so good at juggling them, it
Hmm.
makes it worth watching. He's like, but I would not recommend anyone trying to do what Larry David does
No,
because
he's the king of sitcom. Yeah.
it's it's really hard to do well. And so and that's like the best part of the show, I think, personally. This is these all these weird reoccurring things that keep happening, with different story points, that you just don't expect it. That's the other thing. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah.
If people have not watched it, highly encouraged. I think I'm going to do a rewatch here soon. I thought this might be a
That's a good
getting
idea.
intensive to kind
it
of
is a
Yeah.
good
rewatch
idea.
alone because
Yeah.
some of those have been 15 years probably since I've seen them. So my next headline and probably my favorite is Headline again from HuffPost: "Come and take it, USDA. House Republicans passionately defend milk." So there's this very what's her name? There's this very old representative from North Carolina, Virginia Fox, and you may have remembered
God.
her from when Mike Johnson, the current piece of shit Speaker of the House, somebody asked him about helping because he basically did. Sort of coordinate the effort to steal the 2020 election. And Virginia Fox, who's probably like 93 years old, was standing and somebody asking that question. She goes, "Boo, boo." So I like to think of her as his beard. I think this is his beard. We're not buying it, but I think that's who she is. So anyway, the whole argument is she prefaced this by saying that this year people should only leave out whole milk for Santa Claus because whole milk, and so whole milk for Santa Claus because Santa needs the energy. And so her argument is that it is communist because we are not offering whole milk in public schools. Now, the USDA and the Health Administration and all these things say that there's a reason like you don't give whole milk to kids because a milk's not really that good for kids. Like it's really not.
No,
It's just high
it's
fat
not.
and high calorie, and it's that all that propaganda, the milk, the whole thing. It was all propaganda. It's not good
Does the
for
body good? Not so much.
not
Yeah.
so much, not so much.
Yeah.
No, no, all those are great ads. The kid looking in the
They
mirror.
They
were.
are
Yeah,
great ads. Fucking
Yeah.
yeah,
kudos to the
yeah.
agencies, but that's about it.
Anyway, here was her. So this whole thing, and there's other ones talking about how somebody had made another Republican representative had a sign that basically said "End communism, serve whole milk" because they're claiming that because I think whole milk. 2% and 1% is just kind of watered down, like it decreases milk production hypothetically. But I've got to read her quote because it's just fantastic, and it's just the kind of logic that could only come from this. But this again is Virginia Fox, and this is actually when some of the Democratic opposition kind of mentioned that the American Heart Health Association, the American Public Health Association, the American Heart Association, American Academy of Pediatrics, among the groups opposing the bill. And here was her response: "I'd just like to tell my colleagues something that I think will be easy to remember about why we're doing this." In North Carolina Republican, "Scientists slash experts designed designed the Titanic. Amateurs designed scientists, experts build the Titanic, and amateurs built the Ark."
Okay, that's awesome.
It is the level of crazy that I hated to even entertain, but I thought it was entertaining. So
You
that
know,
is where your
uh,
Republican Party is.
Wow.
that is
Yeah.
in the
Wow.
congressional record now
Oh
forever.
yeah.
That
Her,
is,
That is in the
yeah,
congressional
yeah.
record. Yeah,
That
yeah.
is
And then there
painful.
was this whole debate
Painful.
about how milk has to come from an animal, how like soy milk, and you knew they were going to have a field day with soy milk. But yeah,
Yeah, they hate fucking soy milk. Yeah.
so there you go. They're also busy. I don't know. I didn't even pull up an article about it, but they are also in. They just I think voted to sort of start the first processes of the impeachment for Joe Biden. I think
oh,
yesterday.
I
I
saw that.
forget. There's several phases to this, and most Republicans are saying, "Yeah, we don't exactly know why we're impeaching because they haven't determined why they're impeaching him yet
No,
because they don't have
there's no
evidence
why.
for anything."
Yeah,
So
no evidence. Yeah.
I think this is going to be probably the best thing that can happen for Joe Biden because it is going to be a televised shit show.
Yeah.
And I hope they are just mocked relentlessly. So I'm really hoping that it just devolves into something quite hilarious and beneficial for the Democratic Party. But we'll see.
We shall see.
But anyway, that was those were my headlines. I didn't have a lot, but I like to think
I
they
don't.
were.
Yeah, they're very good. I was just thinking about the Hunter Biden stuff that's like continuing to keep happening.
That was also
Uh,
kind of awesome.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, very strange. I mean, I know that he's probably a bad guy. Maybe not a bad guy, but he did some bad things. People with famous fathers do bad things because they think they can get away with it, and usually they do. Correct?
Yes.
But but it's just kind of. I don't know. I was just like they're like, oh, there is a cabal somewhere that is desperate to get him in jail or to something or other. Like I don't know what the end game is. I mean, it doesn't really affect President Biden, really. I mean, if having an idiot son would affect the presidential race, then Trump would be king of the mountain when that shit happens, right?
You would think, yeah, you
True.
certainly
Yeah.
would think. But I did think it was kind of cool what he did, like because he basically defied the congressional subpoena, and Jim Jordan, we all know and hate, is basically
Fuck that
heading
guy.
up this
Yeah.
effort. And famously, Jim Jordan ignored a congressional subpoena. So it's really,
Right.
so it was kind of a nice thing. He's like basically a ton of people just called out the hypocrisy in that, and it's bad, like because they're kind of unenforceable. Like they're not like again, it was
Yeah.
sort of one of those sort of unspoken rules that when you get subpoenaed by Congress, you show up and
You
guess who
win.
ruined that party? Like so they're getting exactly what they deserve. I don't know that their case, but yeah, and again, they're trying. That's where the whole impeachment thing is. They're trying to link money from like Joe Biden needed money from his son. Like it's
Right,
just
yeah.
the most asinine, like ridiculous. But anyway, so we'll
Grasping.
find out. I
Yeah.
guess he probably will go to prison for a little while, but I don't know. He's probably not a great guy, but I don't think anybody cares. Like I don't care about Hunter Biden.
Not
Nobody
really.
does.
I
Like
know.
no, no.
No.
I mean, I don't really care if Eric Trump goes to prison. I feel like of all the Trump children, he'd be the one that had to go because the other two Trump
Yeah.
children, the many other Trump children would be like, fuck you, Eric, you're going.
Yeah, I think
Take the
Eric
fall
would
for
Yeah.
probably
You're
deal
like,
with it
all
the
right.
worst. Yeah, I think he would deal with it
Yeah.
the worst. Like I think,
Yeah.
I think his daughter deal with it okay. The hell shit Tiffany'd probably be fine, until minimum, minimum somewhere. But Eric's gonna have a tough go at that, because it's just
Very
gonna
much
be like
so.
middle
Yeah.
school all over again.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah.
Good luck, Eric.
Yep.
Things
Good
to
luck.
come.
Good
Also,
luck, Eric.
Good luck, Hunter, as well.
We're not rooting for you, but
Yeah.
sort of, kind of, not really feel sorry for you. All right. I have a couple. Let's see. The first one is I have a little art and then I have a little fart as far as headlines go. So the first one is very artsy from the Smithsonian Magazine. Peach Fuzz is Pantone's color of the year for 2024. This
Hey.
is for all the designers out there that listen to this show. And there are a couple. So get ready for it. They're very excited about the gentle pinkish orange hue that was chosen to reflect a collective desire for respite in 2023. So there you go. Use that color coming up in 2024, people. It is Pantone 13-1023 for all those graphic designers.
I just
The
looked
way
it up.
that they're
Yeah, nice.
describing it is kind of gross. Like they use words like velvety and subtly sensual. So after that, I pretty much stopped reading. But yeah, give it a go. Let us know you want to design something for the show and use that new Pantone color. Send it over. We'd
That just
Please.
love
reminds
it.
me of like what is it, prepubescent mustache? Like I think that would have been a better name. I think,
Which would
but
be a way better name than
Yeah,
Peach was. So
I like it.
yeah.
I see Motorola has already released a Razr phone in peach. Like, they are on that shit. Like they're
Oh
already making a
damn.
phone
All
peach colored.
right.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. It's already popular. So yeah, good on you. And then my last one is Australian men visit 99 pubs in 24 hours to break world record. This happened in Sydney around December 5th, supposedly. But an Australian duo broke the Guinness World Record by going to a pub crawl, basically, that took the course of 24 hours. Harry Kuros and Jake Loiterton, both 26, had drinks at 99 Sydney bars over the course of a day. They wore stupid
Wow.
t-shirts in the process. They took the title from a South African man who visited 78 pubs in 24 hours last year. So, guys, my question to you is, can we do this? Can we be
Ye-
the trio to get 100?
I
What does
think
Had
that
our
so.
work out
100th
to? So
episode.
so that's like how many? It's like
You got to have a
4
drink at
drinks
every
an
bar.
hour.
And it does, yeah, that's a lot. That is a
That's a
lot.
lot. That's a
I think
lot.
in the right place, I think it could be done. Like my immediate thought was in New Orleans. They're down in the district, wherever they call the district, where every other place is a bar. It
Bourbon
probably
Street. Yeah.
Bourbon Street. Yeah, you
Yeah.
probably could pull that off.
I think you could pull it off in New Orleans. That's what I was thinking. I was like, if we were going to attempt it, it would probably be New Orleans.
Yeah, I think we should attempt it.
We'll get to like 4. That's all right. Like it'd be a fun try. We'll be like, oh well, we
Yeah.
lost.
about halfway through, yeah, you're like, what were we trying to do again? That doesn't matter. Barkeep. Um, so
So,
anyway,
I mean, supposedly, and these were the rules. Like, you just have to go to 99 bars. You don't necessarily have to have, like, you have to have a drink, but it doesn't have to be alcohol. So the guys were
Oh,
like,
okay, okay.
they decided they were like, I'm going to do an alcoholic drink and then a non alcoholic and just go back and forth. But after like the first 2 hours, one of them was puking for like 10 minutes. So they were like, we can't do that.
that's gonna cut in our
We need
time.
to, yeah. So then it was like kind of not an alcoholic for
Yeah,
whatever.
I mean,
Which,
logistically, that would be fairly. Yeah, I think now I see what you're saying. Is like you'd have to
yeah,
have a lot of bars in a very close vicinity because
Yeah,
logistically it would be kind of challenging to hit that many bars.
right. So I think
yeah.
New Orleans could happen. I also know New York could happen. We could
Yes.
definitely pull that off in New
No,
York.
I think I'm just spitballing here, but if we try to do that in Hayes, I mean, how many bars are in Hayes? Like 30 bars in Hayes, right? So,
We could get the Kansas Guinness
yeah, yeah, I mean,
state
maybe.
record. Yeah.
That would be an interesting challenge to see if we could have a drink of sorts at every bar in Hayes.
Let's
Uh,
Yeah,
do that when we go back for Quiet Riot this
I
coming summer.
I think
that's a
we're gonna need to.
I can't think of a better way to warm up for a Quiet Riot show than doing that particular stunt.
Dawson, you're
Yes.
gonna have to design us some T-shirts. We're gonna have to get this
Oh,
thing made.
done. Done. Oh, I can't wait. Let's start thinking of some fun t-shirt ideas. I'm into it.
We
Yeah.
need to find a we
That's
need to find a
happening.
DD. We need to find some fresh
That's
faced, somebody who really believes in this. Uh,
Yeah, well, actually, we could yeah, absolutely. Or I was gonna, or we could, just put some Uber driver on the clock and be like, just trust me, you'll get paid. Uh, and then, and then get too drunk to pay
I
it.
actually have a guy who gave me his Uber card that we can use. This
Uh,
guy's awesome. Jonas and I use him every time we go back to Hayes and we go downtown to drink with
nice.
friends. It's like $6 a ride. It's perfect. Yeah,
is this
we're
is
good.
his name Dusty?
I think it's something like Darren Tice.
Okay, all right.
It's some D name, that's very popular in Western KS.
Western
He's great
chaos.
though. He's like when he says he's going to be there, he's there. He's very personable, but not in a creepy way. Friendly, good driver. Yeah, I got us.
I'm
We're good.
excited to plot this out. I want to have a map of
Yeah,
Hayes with the
Well,
bars
and
and
here's
yeah.
the thing about Hayes too that is going into effect, I believe, this month is that you can walk around downtown Hayes with an alcoholic beverage
right.
Oh
They're
my
gonna have
from a
like
gosh.
a
place
safe
that
open container zone. Yeah, yeah.
exactly, yeah.
Seriously, that is
Yeah, so that will help us in this quest a
Carrie
little bit.
Nation is rolling over in her grave right now. And that is that's the most Vegas move I've heard Hayes try to do until since the mayor has tapped the keg first thing in the morning on Oktoberfest.
Yep.
Uh, eh,
They're
but
getting an arcade downtown. There's a lot of things happening
No
in
way,
Hayes.
really?
So,
They're getting an
yeah,
arcade.
yeah.
They
Smith,
haven't
it's
had an
going to be
arcade since like
open for
'94.
Christmas. It's
Yeah, that'll be cool.
called Arcade 11. So Sip and Spin, that corner place that's been closed for whatever reason
Oh,
for
you're right,
years.
right.
Yeah, that's where it's going into.
Oh, that's cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
that used to be a gym if I remember correctly. I don't know. Anyway,
yeah. It's been a lot of things.
I remember one time I was driving downtown and there was a reasonably working uh, stepper sizer there. What do they call those things? Step machine.
I remember this, Tyson. It was sitting outside, and I think
What?
we
Yeah,
were trying
and,
to
and
see if
we
we
and
could. Yeah.
we got it into my apartment. Actually, it was not easy, but they
Oh, we
put it
did do it. No,
on.
I thought it was just. Yeah, no, we actually did that. Oh crap! I'm
Yeah,
on that.
yeah,
Wow, good
because
for us.
it had like a little
No
it had
way.
a little sign that said this works. Take it if you want it. And of course, Matt and I are all about fitness, like 100% all the time. That's all we talk about is fitness.
Fuck
And so
yeah.
I
Really.
was like, this is it. This is happening. And I lived on a second floor building, and it was a nightmare getting it up the steps. But anyway, we did get it though. I have no idea what happened to it.
You crazy kids.
I know.
Seriously. That's a new story.
Oh, if
That's
I could,
fun.
if I could go back to my mid 30s, what a crazy time that was. Sorry.
Mid 30s. Hey, do you guys remember when we were at I just brought up a funny story. Sorry, Chrissy, I'm going to tell it. Remember when we were in Lawrence at Tyson's place and Chrissy bailed on us to go hook up with the taxi driver? Uh, we brought her home from some festival to Tyson's and then she had to believe. Oh, good times. Good times. It's out there. He's now a doctor, everyone. A
I think he's.
doctor.
I think he's into me. I'm gonna go.
What a go. Hey, that was kind of the right call with us
I
that night.
love how the three of us were like, we weren't concerned at all. We were just like, see ya.
Yes. Good luck. Hope your
Yep.
skin comes back intact.
That sounds safe. Your skin comes
My
Imagine, like,
favorite.
being interviewed by that true crime podcast and be like, you just let her go. Like, you all three just let her go. You thought that was a good idea.
It's fine.
It was fine.
I don't know if you remember this, but there was a time Matt had an apartment in Lawrence at the time. So did I. I had a townhouse at the time, and Matt and I went out together. And we got separated, and I couldn't find him, so I just went home. And the next day, he came home wearing a letter jacket. Do you remember this? You were wearing a coat. It was a Letterman's jacket, but you didn't know who had given it to you. It was guy. Some guy gave you this coat because you probably were cold.
I do remember this. Yeah.
Do you still have that coat?
I do not. No, it freaked me out. So I was like, nope, I gotta get rid of that Letterman jacket. Good on that dude, because I feel like that's where his Letterman jacket wound up, like his hopes and dreams.
It was just such a weird thing to like, hey, here you go, use my Letterman's jacket. I guess I'll give you my pen. We can go, we'll go steady for the bar, or Anyway, I just remember thinking that was like.
I love that. I feel like Smith has a lot of those stories. My favorite, I'm not going to tell the details, but after my graduation party, it was the next day.
That was We'll save that one for the.
But I have to tell them about this. Is fine, Smith. I think picking you up. I picked him up in front of the old Holiday Inn the next morning, and I was like, "Dude, what happened to you last night?" He tells me this crazy story. I am laughing so hard, but then he has like scratches all over his face. He had to jump through a bush or something.
Yeah, because I walked over to I was trying to where you guys were trying to pick me up, and I was crossing Vine Street, and I apparently thought I needed to traverse through a bush to make my way to your location.
It was classic.
Yes.
I was just happy you were there. So were Charlotte and Caroline Moore, some of my best friends from forever. My other best friends, they were just like, "Where's Smith? Is Smith okay?" Like up my ass about it all night and all morning the next day. And I'm like, I'm going out to find him, okay? Because they were in Pop Singers with Shauna, so they were just like, we have to take care of Shauna's brother. This is not
nice
okay.
I'm glad they were worried about me. Yeah.
Tyson and I were worried about you too. I just want to say that, but not as worried because we know you. We were like, Smith
that
finds
time
a way.
I left with a cab driver that was into me, but we don't talk about that.
Of all of us, we all have weird stories like that. But Matt always lands on his feet somehow. He's charming. He's charming when he's drunk.
Very charming.
People take care of him.
They do.
Yeah.
With Tyson and I, they're just like, I don't know what's happening there. I'm just gonna leave that alone. So we're left to our devices. It's not great.
That's not good. Yeah, no. The three of us need to be on the same page when we go out. If we're
we need to use the buddy system. Always the buddy system.
Always a buddy system.
We do.
Usually involves our partners. Yeah, it's great.
All right.
Good people.
I wanted it off from you guys from Austin one night. I know you guys were looking all over for me.
And one of my favorite pictures of all time was taken at 4:00 in the morning when Jonas and I were getting back to our apartment. Jonas is about 10 feet away from me, and about 10 feet away from him is Tyson sitting in front of our apartment door. And Jonas just has his arms out like this, like, what the fuck? Like, where the fuck have you been? Genuinely worried about Tyson, and I was like, he'll be fine. We'll figure it out. That was for the
what life was that like without the find my friend the app locator thing. You had to just go look for people, and gave up.
We should have put that on Tyson for Glassman's wedding.
Oh yeah,
we got him one of those little leashes that they used to put on kids in the mall. The little kitty leashes. Yeah,
I remember.
That was a cute moment though with you and Kathy Smith, because one of you was driving, one of you was in the passenger seat, and one would stick their head out of the window this way and go, Tyson,
It was. It
and
was
then
like
the
we were
other
looking
one
for
would
a dog. Yeah, it really was.
I remember leaving that bar and everyone else was driving home, and I was like, "I'm fine, I can walk it. It's not very far." And then I ended up in a boat dock, and it's hard, like because all these boats were hooked together. I mean, it's Maryland, so like it was. I let's just say that it's a good deal that there was no houseboats there, or I might have been in some trouble.
That's very true. Yeah,
That is very true. Yes.
Stand your ground laws in Maryland. I don't know what they're like,
Yeah,
but
we can't do that with Tyson anymore. So
no,
yeah,
no,
find a friend is
find a
going
friend.
into action. Yeah,
That's right.
next time we're all together. Yeah. Ah.
Yep.
Oh, on that note, before too many secrets are revealed, let's do some plugs.
Okay,
Oh shit. All right,
stop.
that's it. Yeah.
Stop. It stopped. That's fine. So I have like five things. So we did go see Napoleon in the theater, and it was quite good and quite funny actually.
I
Funnier
feel
than
like
I.
there's a but. There's a but.
No, there's no but. I actually really
Oh,
liked
okay.
it. I mean, the battle scenes were epic.
Yeah.
Ridley does amazing stuff with cinematography. He's just really good at it. There's little bits and pieces, and I didn't know. Beth knew a lot more about the letters between Napoleon and his side hustle or whatever she was, his ex-wife or whatever.
His ex-wife. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was pretty interesting. I did like it though. I'm glad we even saw it in the theater because we didn't see it in IMAX because the IMAX chairs are bad, and I can't sit in those chairs for very long, at least right now. But
ours are too. Like there's like big, like there's almost no legroom. Like the screen is awesome, but you are so crammed in there that it is not comfortable. Like it just, yeah.
That sucks.
yeah,
Oppenheimer about killed me. Yeah,
yeah, it's not good, and it's because they have like AMC theaters, which we usually go to. They have recliners, you can lean back, but
Yeah.
on the
That's yeah.
IMAX they have
We're
to
used to
stack them on
trauma.
top of each other,
Yeah.
and then you can't get that nice sort of comfortable feel to it. But anyway, it was a good movie. I liked it. I'm glad I saw it in the theater. I was gonna. So this is like I guess a sideways plug. It's not an unplug. It's not a plug. I watched this movie called Suitable Flesh, and it's a horror movie.
Okay.
It's basically it's a Lovecraftian type story. Um, I actually had it on my list for last week's episode, and I took it off because I couldn't remember seeing it. So that's how inconsequential this movie is. Like I completely forgot that I'd seen the damn thing. It's got so I don't know. Don't watch it. Don't watch it. It's gonna just like flush out of your head. I did watch this documentary called Mr. Organ.
Hmm.
Um, it's by uh, a documentarian uh, from New Zealand, and basically it's just about this guy who's a complete and total sociopath, and and so he's trying to figure out what's going on with this guy, and the entire time, like he's one of those guys that like moves in, he uses people, like he has that sort of ability to suck them into their drama, like so much
Yeah.
so that they will do whatever they have to do just to get him to shut up. And uh,
Mm.
they're literally like, some people went to jail because they forged documents for him. So I mean, no, it's like across the board, just this crazy story.
What is this on? What is the documentary on?
It's for rent, so
Oh, okay.
but it's called Mr. Organ, Mister Organ, Organ, and it's I don't know if I mean I'm glad I watched it because literally the documentarian doesn't understand what is going on with this guy, and so you kind of get sucked. It took 6 years to make this documentary, by the way, because this guy kept showing up.
Damn. Okay.
You know, yeah. So at one point he called the documentarian, and he was like, I'm not going to tell you who, but one of your friends, gave me a key to your house, and sure as shit, he had a key to his house, and he got a copy. He got the guy returned it to him because he was like saying like things like you don't know who you can trust on your side either, but it ended up being that like like it wasn't. He's just a fucking crazy pants person. So
Quack. Yeah.
it's a weird. I mean, there's no you don't there's no resolution to this documentary other than the fact that he just stops talking to this guy and moves. So this guy
Okay.
doesn't know where he is, but it is actually pretty interesting. Um, and then finally, this was my challenge to you guys last week. There's a documentary called "Disturbance in the Force."
Ah, fuck.
Uh,
Yeah.
and Matt, did you get a chance to watch it?
I did not. I did not, but I will this week. Piggy
Um,
swear, because
I
I
know,
want to
yeah,
watch it. It's gotten excellent reviews too. So
it's good. It's and what's really good about it is it really gets into the into the like the weeds of like how this happened or why this happened and why George Lucas would allow this to happen. And there's so many weird things that were going on. And somebody said, I think it was Seth uh oh no, what was his name? The guy who does Robot Chicken. He works with George Lucas all the
Seth
time.
Green.
Seth Green, yeah. He said that he he said that he thinks that that happened out of spite because
Mm.
yeah, so I don't want to give too much away, but it's really interesting, and you sort of understand how this all came about, and how like it had no repercussions because the kid. Well, anyway, I don't want to give any away, but you guys should check it out. It's pretty good. I showed it to Beth. I've watched it twice. So
Damn. Okay.
and then I have just one recommendation. This is a band called Carpool. This record came out about 2 years ago, but they just released it on vinyl finally, and it's the name of the band is called Carpool, and the name of the album is Erotic Nightmare Summer. Uh, and it is for people that like emo indie. It's very emo, but it sounds great. So anyway, I would, if you like emo music or Get Up Kids or anything like that, Braid, Promise Ring, anything like that, I would definitely check it out. So
Okay.
those are my plugs.
very
Oh, and I
nice.
Excellent.
and I think I'm gonna buy both Olivia Rodrigo's albums. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna do that. So
Wait,
uh,
what? Really?
yeah, yeah. I've never heard her do a song that I didn't like. And she was on
Oh
SNL last week.
shit.
She was on SNL last weekend, and I was
Okay, there it is. All right, Tyson. Yeah, let us know how that album goes for you.
okay.
Okay.
It made it, I well. I will say that I was reading Entertainment Weekly's 10 best albums of the year, and it was number 4. So I don't know.
Wasn't on Bob Boylan's albums of the year, I should say.
I,
It probably was actually. I don't know.
I have no
He's picking a fight for no reason.
idea.
All right, Smith.
Yeah, so I have a couple, not a lot, but a couple. So we just started watching. It's actually kind of an older series on Apple TV because I've gotten rid of my, well, partially gotten rid of my sort of Apple TV phobia. Like it just has this. We've talked about this
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
There's just like
Mhm,
this.
mhm.
There's just like this film over all Apple TV content that I can't really explain, but something rubs me right. Anyway, all for all mankind is what it's called. Have you guys aware of
Oh,
this?
yeah,
Yeah,
And
I'm aware.
yeah, when
I'm aware.
my parents were back for Thanksgiving, my dad was watching it, and I thought it is something that just started. Apparently, I think it started in like 2020. It's on its fourth season. But basically, the concept, it's kind of a soft plug, but we've enjoyed it. And it's basically the idea is it is a kind of alternate sort of time. What do they call it? Historical fiction, but it's an alternate time for the United States space program going to the moon. And it basically starts off with the Russians get there first is kind of the premise. And so it kind of follows it. And so it's a pretty good show, but it drives me nuts because I'm all anachronisms like time wise just drive me insane. Like when they play a
Mhm.
song from like 1987, like this is 1983, you idiots! Like it just drives me crazy. And more so like
Uh-huh.
when they're using like technology that I know, like they used like a Betamax machine in like 1974. I'm like, that's bullshit. That didn't
That's
exist in
yeah.
1976.
It's too
This
early.
stuff drives me nuts, but it is very interesting because it kind of plays fast and loose with history. Like it's just the one Kennedy that Chappaquiddick doesn't happen, so he becomes president after RFK is assassinated.
Yeah.
And John Lennon survives the shooting, so they do kind of these fun
Oh,
things
wow.
time wise, but
Okay.
pretty good show. Like I do recommend checking out at least the first episode and see if you're into it.
Okay.
And then I had a couple of really, really good podcasts that I ran into this week. First one is called Who Killed JFK? And this
Oh,
is being
shit. Okay.
done. Have you guys heard about this?
No.
I know that
So
guy
this
wrote a book about it, but
So,
really.
so obviously, I was a nut about the JFK conspiracy like 20 years ago. Like, I just read all the books and I got really consumed by it. Well, the reason this got is it's Rob Reiner and Soledad O'Brien who are doing this podcast, and
Huh.
apparently Rob Reiner back in the day was like just enthralled by this, and so he did all his own
Cool.
research. And I love Rob Reiner. Like, he directed
I
my
do
favorite
too.
movie of all time. Just
Yep.
love Rob Reiner, especially just from the. We did watch that documentary finally with him and
The Albert Brooks one.
oh, so good, so good.
Defending what is it? Defending my life or
Like
whatever.
Defending
Yeah,
My
that
Life.
was
Yeah.
Yeah, so good. And I think I heard about this short. And I think it started in November, and I think they're about 5 episodes in. But he's claiming like it's and basically he's has this kind of a unique narrative about how the CIA was kind of responsible. So I'm not sure like how much I'm buying it at this point, but it's a lot of fun to listen to, and it's very serious. Like, it's not like funny. It's him sort of, and apparently the origin of this was he just like called up Soledad O'Brien one day. He's like, "Hey, I really want to make a podcast about the JFK assassination." She's like, "All right." So I think she's sort of
I'm game.
kind of
That's cool.
walking into it, but it's actually very good. But the one I'm most excited about is this one, and it is called. Oh, did you just lock up on me? Oh no, I'm good. Just one of those pop up ads. And this one is actually a couple years old, but it's called Wind of Change. And this came out a couple years ago, and the premise
Mhm.
of this is this guy has a buddy who used to work in the CIA, and about 10 years ago they were out like having some drinks, and this guy kind of divulged a little bit too much information. But his claim is that somebody at the CIA, or multiple people at the CIA, told him while he was active that in 1989 the CIA worked with the band Scorpions rather, who released the song
Okay.
"Wind of
Winds of
Change," because
Change. Yeah,
which I had forgotten, but this was sort of like the
yeah,
seminal anthem for the fall of the wall, because this
it
was
was. Yeah,
and
yeah.
so
I remember
this
that.
is and
Wow.
so his mission is like he's getting a hold of all these old CIA contacts and asking them about it, but he's slowly putting together, and I'm only about halfway through it, but he's slowly putting together the pieces that the CIA worked with the Scorpions, Das Scorpions, I think it
Wow.
is,
Das
Wow.
Scorpion.
to basically deliver the song and release it. And there's some pretty like convincing things. Like, one of the examples is, without giving too much away, but one of the examples is like the lead singer like never wrote a song in his life, and like this song is credited to him, and it's above and beyond like they're like, if you look at their lyrics, they're like they were written by seventh graders like on medication. Like, they're
Yeah.
just very like juvenile and sophomoric. But anyway, it's just fascinating because it not only kind of because sort of while he's doing all this research, you learn a lot about how the CIA operates, and it talks
Cool.
about like how like in the 60s, like they used jazz musicians to go into the USSR to like put a good face on the United States, and so they had like people like Cab Calloway and all. It's a fascinating ride. And
Whoa.
so it was weird that I wound up listening to two podcasts about the CIA, but they're very different. But it's just I just loved the premise. I was like, I just love the ridiculous premise of the CIA. Like, it's the best conspiracy theory story ever. And so, like I said, I'm about halfway in. It's called Wind of Change, and I think you can get it on you can get it pretty much everywhere. But if you listen to it on Spotify, there's no ads, so that's a
Okay.
bonus. Yeah, so you don't
That is
support
a
anything
bonus.
while being entertained at the same time. So anyway,
Well, that's
those are my
that's
plugs.
well, that song was so like weird. Like when it came out, I had the cassette single. I mean, I remember this, and but it was like I had heard some Scorpion songs before that, just a little bit, and they didn't sound like anything like Winds of
That's
Change.
exactly right. Like, it's a power ballad. Like,
It
I
is.
mean, it's definitely
There's
like
whistling.
yeah, there
There's
is.
whist.
So that, and if people don't remember the song, just listen to it, because you'll know it. Just like, and I don't I'm even going
For
to attempt
sure.
to the
Yeah.
intro, but that you as soon as you hear that whistling, it'll take you back to the fall of the wall, and it's excellent. It was very good. It's done by one of the producers for the show. Was that same, forgetting his name? It's the same guy that does Pod Save America and Pod Save the World, who was like Obama, who worked
Oh,
in the Obama administration. I think Josh
one of the
talked
three
about.
guys. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And he's one of the
Right.
producers, and he's one of the
That's
first
cool.
guys he interviews. It's excellent. If you guys have the opportunity, I highly, highly recommend it. So
Yeah, I'm
there
gonna
you go.
check it out.
That's a conspiracy week, and yeah,
Ooh,
liking
I
it.
love it. I'm into it. I have a few. There is a new movie on Netflix called Leave the World Behind. Have you guys seen this?
I read
Um,
I read about it. I haven't seen it.
it's directed by a guy, Sam Esmail. I'm not familiar with his work. I am familiar with the work of the stars, Julia Roberts, Ethan
He
Hawke,
he did
Oh yeah,
Mahershala
yeah, okay.
Ali,
he
Kevin
did
Bacon.
he did Mr. Robot. That's where I'm familiar with
Oh,
him.
okay. That's cool. It is fucking good, guys. It's my favorite Julia Roberts movie. And not that I'm a big Julia Roberts fan. I'm not. But she is great in it. She plays uh I don't even want to say the character she plays, but I really appreciated it. She played the part very well. It's basically about this family that takes a getaway because her character is just kind of sick of being in New York and being around people all the time. So they get outside of the city for a minute, and it's very fortuitous for a number of reasons because basically there's a cyber attack that happens and shit goes haywire. But it's the way that it's written and the way that they act it and the way it, like the cinematography, everything is so fucking good. I loved it. I was not expecting to love it, and I really ended up liking it a lot. So if you're looking for something to watch, I definitely recommend it.
It's on
Um,
Netflix, right?
yeah, it's on Netflix. You guys should both watch it. I think you both would really like it a lot. And it's lengthy. I want to say it's almost like 2.5 hours long. But I loved it. It was very good. And then there is a TV miniseries on the Max. It's called Station 11. Did you guys ever watch that? It came out like literally right in the middle of the pandemic lockdown, like 2020, 2021.
I don't think so.
Um,
I don't think so
it's
either.
very good as well. It's like sci-fi post-apocalyptic at its best. The acting, editing, like everything in it is fucking amazing. Smith, you watched Halt and Catch Fire, right? Did
Yes,
you watch
yes.
that? So Mackenzie Davis, the
Oh
tall
yes.
blonde in it, she's in this and she's the lead character. Um Phenomenal. I mean, I was blown away. There are moments where it kind of felt like Lost, but like an elevated Lost. Um, wow. I'm still processing it. Like the way that they did it, it's based on a book. I have not read the book, obviously. I hope people who listen to this have. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it. It's just an oldie but a goodie, and it's very bingeable. So if you're looking for something like that over the holidays, that is something to watch. I can't wait to watch it again. It's phenomenal. Um, and then there is a documentary on the Max as well. I spent a lot of time with the Max this week. Uh, Called Great Photo, Lovely Life, Facing a Family Secret. This woman, Amanda Mustard, who is a photojournalist, she returns home and investigates her grandfather's sexual abuse of various kids. It is fucked. But the way that she does it is like very well done. Um, I just appreciate what she did and how she exposed her own grandfather and then people in her family who were abused by him and just the story that she's able to shape from it. Um Man, it's tough. It's a tough one. So like really like if you're not in that mood, don't watch it. But it's a very well done documentary and I can't give her enough kudos about it. Um it Check it out. That's all I have to say about
What was
that.
it called again?
It's called Great Photo, Lovely Life,
Okay.
Facing a Family Secret. So, yeah, again, if you're looking for a very good documentary to watch, that is it. But it's hard. I mean, she interviews her grandpa, and he's just like a fucking like monster. Like,
Oh
doesn't see
wow.
anything wrong with any of it, and it's just like, oh my god, like crazy pants to the nth degree. So yeah, that's that's more a soft plug because I think it's gonna uh trigger some people. So
That's
yeah,
not a Christmas Eve movie.
proceed with caution. Yeah, it is not. No, 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 no. Yeah. If you're really looking forward to the holidays with family, you got some fucked up people in it. Maybe avoid that for a while. um, but that's about it. Other than I did want to plug our show next week, which will be fun. We're gonna be doing a best of the year sort of thing. So hopefully everybody comes back and
We've got
listens.
some lists to work on, so got some
We do have
homework.
Yeah,
some lists. Yeah,
I did actually start on my list today, my lists today. So yeah, so
I have
I'm
two.
I'm
I'm,
trying to
I'm
be a little bit.
revisiting albums at the moment.
Yeah, I'm trying to be a little bit more prepared than I was last year. So I'm trying to be. But anyway, yeah. So I started. Yeah, I've started doing that too. I'm going through the Plex and finding out which movies I liked and which ones I didn't. Um. Oh, sorry. No, that's just whatever.
You're like, oh God, I got a shitload of work to do.
No,
I saw your
no,
mind travel.
well, we're doing this. We're doing the Christmas movie thing right now.
Mhm.
um, and I just wanted to say that a lot of people like to watch Christmas shows. Like we watch White Christmas and Christmas Story, Scrooged every year. Scrooge's my favorite. But there are some good Christmas movies that you don't necessarily think about as Christmas movies. And I think this is just, and I'm looking for suggestions here. The one that I always think of that most people do not think of is not Die Hard, because I think enough people think of that as a Christmas movie at this point. But
Well, we talked about it. It is a Christmas movie. I feel like we've,
The
you know,
Ref, did you ever see that? It's
I've
got
not. Uh-uh.
yeah, it's got Kevin Spacey in it, and it's got Dennis Leary in it, and Annette Bening, I think's in it.
Oh, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
that technically is a Christmas movie, and I really like that one. That's not a crowd
And
pleaser.
appropriate if you have the right kind of family. I think you have to have the right kind of family to watch that as a family. But
Yeah,
it
no,
is quite.
I don't know if I would watch it with my family, but just from watching it with my wife, it's not a problem. And the cats don't seem to mind. So, but anyway, do you guys have a weird Christmas movie that like? Cause I always think there's something like there are so many movies that or TV episodes that are really Christmas movies or Christmas shows, but you don't always think of them.
You know,
You know,
I actually thought of one like while I was watching it. I hadn't seen this movie in years, but it's an excellent film. Is Dutch? Have you guys seen the movie Dutch?
No, I haven't.
no,
Uh-uh.
It was
I'm adding it to the
so good.
list.
Ed O'Neill. I believe it
Oh,
was
I love him.
written. I want to say it was written by John Hughes, but don't quote me on that. Came out in like
Okay.
1991. If you've not seen it, is amazingly good. Like it's what it is. It's such a funny movie, and it's basically just um, Ed O'Neill marries this woman who has this stepson who is just kind of a brat, and so he drives up to go get the stepson from private school, and it's just about it's like a travel
I
movie, and so
you know what
them.
I have seen that movie. Yeah, that was a good movie. I haven't thought about it in years.
It's I hadn't either, and it was I think it was on one of the free ones, and I was like needed something to watch in the afternoon. I'm like I'm going to watch Dutch, and it's an excellent sort of not necessarily a Christmas movie, but like
Uh-huh.
takes it's the they get home in time for Christmas. It's all sweet. So no, they highly recommend Dutch if you haven't seen it.
Who's
That's
the kid
cool.
in that
I'm gonna
movie?
check it out.
Do you remember? That's all right. I'll look it up.
For some reason, I think he might have been in like Rocky Four, but I don't. I could just be making that up. I don't know. Those kids in these movies, they all look pretty much the same. But no, he would have
That
been too young for it. But he was in other stuff. He was hot for like 3 minutes, as are most child actors. But
that is
so
true.
Ed O'Neill's finest work by pretty big margin, I think. So
Better than Married with Children,
it's
for real?
much better than yeah. I
Okay.
wouldn't.
Oh,
Oh, we lost him.
uh-oh. We lost you, Smith.
We can't hear you,
Oh,
buddy.
Much sweeter. It's a much sweeter film than. Sorry, I was muted. So much sweeter film than Married with
I
Children.
like it.
Blacks the heart of Married with Children.
Al Bundy. I still make Al Bundy quotes or call people Al Bundy when they're a little too grandiose. Um, yeah, I'm gonna check that out. I don't really have like an offbeat Christmas movie that I watch every year. I feel like it's like the generic ones. I have an offbeat Thanksgiving movie that I watch, Home for the Holidays. Have you guys watched that?
I don't know who's
I
in it.
don't
It's
think
got
so.
Holly Hunter in it. It's got Robert Downey Jr. in it. It's got oh Jesus, I am brain farting on her name, and this is bad. She was married to Mel Brooks. Uh, God dang it! Please hold, producers.
I think we did watch this within like the last year or so.
It's fucking hilarious. Like it's just, I mean, it's kind of just dysfunctional family gathering at its best. But Holly Hunter's like city girl who doesn't want to go back home for the holidays because her family is they're dysfunctional in their like perfect little ways. But she ends
And
up going, Anne
and,
Bancroft,
and
right?
Bancroft. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
who plays her mom. And her like Anne Bancroft, her sister is constantly hitting on her husband, and it's just like a whole thing. Robert Downey Jr.'s character, he's gay, but he has a problem. Like his family just doesn't acknowledge it. Like there's just a bunch of that going on. All and Holly Hunter's character is just like the glue that kind of keeps them together a little bit because she's not dramatic at all. Um, I loved it. Claire Danes is in it too. I think
Yep,
plays her daughter.
she is. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, we're post Thanksgiving, but if you're looking for family dysfunction at its best, that's pretty funny.
All right.
Very good.
But then I also love Home Alone. I also love freaking Macaulay Culkin getting his star on the Walk of Fame, and then Catherine O'Hara being there, and like all of the side by sides. I'm the dumbass that like sees that shit and tears up because I'm like, oh, they're back together. This is amazing. Like yeah, it's heartwarming.
I don't think I've seen that movie since the theater, so we're gonna watch it this year. It's been a
You
long
should.
time. Yeah.
It's
It
very
holds
good.
up. Yeah. Yep. I love it. All right. Shall we wrap this up? I
We
gotta
probably
pee
should.
as
All
usual.
right. You
Yeah.
always have to pee. Yeah.
Yep. Always.
It's
Bladder.
the natural conclusion
Does
to
your
this.
bladder shrink as you get older? Is this what 40 is like, guys? I'm
I'm gonna
I'm,
say. I'm gonna
I'm
say
new to
sure.
this game.
I'm
I don't
gonna
know if
say
it's
yeah. I'm gonna say yeah. Anything that's going weird or some wonky or
You just
sideways.
got more time.
That's
You just need more to do, I think. So
All
yeah,
right.
you pee
That
more. So you
works.
find yourself wanting to pee. It's about the simple things after 40, and
true.
urination is amongst them. Yeah, so
I'm
Yeah.
trying to appreciate the little things.
It get
All
hard.
right. Well,
Yeah, I think for men it gets harder to pee as they get older, and it gets harder to clip. Everyone has problems clipping their toenails. I think as they
yes.
get older.
Yes.
So that's a
Yep.
thing. That's a great thing to think about. So Merry Christmas, you. Sorry.
Something to look forward to, everybody.
Yep.
All right. Well, always a pleasure. Bye, guys.
absolutely.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Ah, yes.